And we're recording.
I'll fade us out.
Yay.
Good morning. It's Motivation Mornings with Marnie and Melissa. Hi, I'm Melissa Houston. I'm a health insurance specialist and financial planner in Victoria, BC. And I really like Marnie's virtual background today.
Oh, thank you. A little bit of nature behind me. And good morning, everybody. I'm Marnie Dangerfield. I'm a wellness and intentional gravity and garden coach. And I'm just loving seeing your smiling face this morning, Melissa. And so excited to hear our new theme song. That's the first I've heard it heading into our show. So, yay. So
Yay,
we'll,
hopefully everyone else can hear
yeah. So we're gonna start with our values, just to give you a heads up of what's coming. We always start with our value statement, and then we'll each share what's inspiring us this week. I'll go first this week. Melissa will go next. We switch up every now and then, and then I'm going to share a wellness tip, and we then Melissa's going to share how to get in touch with us, and we'll do gratitudes and finish up with the inspirational quote that I'm always excited to see.
Yes.
I hope I got everything.
You did amazing. It looked like you did it from memory too, so.
I didn't look down today.
Our value statement. Today we gather
in the spirit of possibility,
in support of community,
to encourage holistic well-being,
to empower our authentic selves,
to share appreciation,
to express compassion,
and to enjoy this gift of life.
Yay! All right. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what's inspiring you. We've missed you the past couple of weeks. You've probably had all kinds of things, all kinds of motivations and inspirations.
Oh, that's so funny. I do, and I don't, well, I've chosen one, so we'll see how it goes. And it actually stems from just a recent thing. I happened to see the news. I do try to keep aware of what's going on without watching the news too much, but like to know what's happening in the world. And there was a piece, I think it was in Georgia in the States, showing people voting. And it was the biggest line I had ever seen for people to be voting. And, they interviewed these few people after, and they'd waited over 4 hours in line to vote. And I just thought it was so inspiring that what they communicated after about being citizens and supporting their democracy and how important it was. I was just like, yes, because we have our own provincial election coming up. And at first I was like, 4 hours to vote, thinking, it's like, wait, no, our democracy is so important. And so it just really lit a spark in me, like, yes, that's right. We're lucky, so fortunate that we can vote and that we do have a functioning democracy. Let's be a part of it. And so that's what's inspiring me this week.
Oh, I love it. And yes, we do have our own election here in BC coming up very soon. It wasn't a lot of prep time, but that's awesome. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Marty.
So what about you?
Yeah. Well, I'll just interject because I don't have my Facebook up, so I don't know if anyone's joining us live, but if anyone is, please let us know if anything is motivating or inspiring you today. We would love to hear that. So, and Marnie would probably be able to see those comments coming through and could share them. Otherwise, if you're watching the replay, still a comment. We'll still be keeping an eye on it and we'd love to hear about it. So, for me, I wanted to share something that's kind of been a couple weeks in the making. And I think I touched on it once back when I saw the trailer for the movie It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And it made me feel so warm in my heart when I saw that. And so flash forward, I don't know how many months, finally watched the movie. Not just the trailer, but the movie. And it was not really what I expected, because it's more about a journalist whose life is impacted by meeting Mr. Rogers, rather than it being solely about Mr. Rogers. But it is based on a true story, and you can go online and read the article that the journalist had wrote that the movie is based on. And so lots of the things mentioned in the movie are in the article itself. So it was neat to watch the movie. And I don't know, a lot of it got to me. I think they did a really great job at capturing sort of his magic. I don't know if he would like that word, but and then to read like how much of that is actually happened. But then I went down a rabbit hole of looking for more information about Mr. Rogers, and I found a great podcast. And there's several out there, but the one that resonated with me, it's called Finding Fred. It's a 10 episode podcast that was released last year in 2019. And it sort of looks at him from the perspective of being an adult, and how we could take the things he was trying to teach to children into us in adulthood and in our world, in how it is the current state of this world. And there's been so many little nuggets of wisdom and insight, and they touched upon how kindness to him was a practice, and how when some people would like say he's like a saint, and he wouldn't like that because it made it seem like what he is doing is beyond the reach of an average person, and that's not what he wanted. He wanted everyone to recognize that we could all develop this kind of kind presence to each other. Anyway, I didn't really watch him when I was growing up. I mean, I was aware of Mr. Rogers, but I was more of a Mr. Dress Up person. And, and so I feel like I'm late to the party, the Mr. Rogers party. But it's so wonderful to see somebody so inspirational. And I think we could all probably learn a lot from him.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so glad you shared this. Thank you. There's a reason we're connected. I so agree with all of this. And I'm looking forward to, I didn't know about that podcast. I'm excited about that. You reminded me of a documentary they made of Mr. Rogers. Won't You Be My Neighbor? So good. And so yeah, and it used to be on anyway, but it's yeah, Won't You Be My Neighbor? And it's another one, and it's same thing. It's just so inspiring. And I love that you mentioned about kindness, that reminder that kindness is a practice. We can all practice it. So it's, with practice, it becomes more like just a go-to, as opposed to like, oh, I forgot about kindness. It builds. So I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
And now do you have a wellness tip for us?
Do I? Yes, no, I do. So this week I wanted, based on what happened last week, I just thank you once again for covering. You're just amazing. So I love your Facebook Lives. My tip is a gentle reminder to listen to your body. I don't know about you, but I know for me over the years, it's very easy to be in my head a lot and think this is what I need to do. I've got this list, and I'm, it's a lot of mental, which is great. But our bodies carry a lot of our stress, and they give us little hints and clues of things of what's happening. And when I think back to Wednesday morning last week, I had some hints leading up to that um, maybe there was a little bit of worry and stress that I was kind of being resistant to, and my body was kind of trying to let me know until I woke up with just a crazy headache and I rarely get headaches. And so, um, in the process of even with that, I was trying to just like, okay, no, I'll just drink a lot of water and I'll push it down and I've got to get on this. Anyway, my mind was like, I've got to get on this call. And, that was the important thing instead of pausing and going, okay, what is this really about? My body's trying to tell me something. It was more about, I've got to get on this call. I've got this thing. And, until it turned into like, okay, it became clear to me that there's just no way that I'm going to be really a functioning being for this. And so I'm putting it out there because I don't think I'm the only one that sometimes can do that, where it's just, you're maybe starting to feel a bit run down, or there's a little ache and pain, and you just kind of like don't get kindly curious about what it might be about, because our bodies, they're really great at being subtle at first until they kind of go, okay, now you have to listen. So just that a reminder of, if you're starting to feel something, just to get curious about, oh, what's going on? Like, have I eaten recently? What's my sleeping like? Have I been, and I know dehydration was a part of it, but yeah. So that's my gentle reminder, excuse me, this week as I clear a frog from my throat. Just we are holistic beings. It's our mind, body, spirit, and I know in the busyness of life and the wanting to like do things that can be, even with a lot of my my practice, and that was part of it too. It's like, oh, I have all these health wellness practices, this can't be happening to me. The ego kicks in. And so just really wanting to like, hey, it happens. And how to be, get out of the story and try and step back and say, what's this about? And no, like, there's absolutely, of course you could do the show last week without me. I'm not indispensable. So yeah, just wanted to, that's my story and tip this week. My hands going.
Well, I think you are indispensable, but we can just do our best without you. But yeah, I think that's a wonderful message, though, and also about prioritizing yourself instead of everything else on that to-do list. So yeah, to try to keep aware of what our bodies are telling us, and when something does need attention, say
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay to pay attention to what your needs are.
Well, and it's that permission piece, like, wait, and it's this practice in my life that I keep working on. Like, wait, oh, wait, no, this is important, my health and well-being. But it's very easy, depending on our, the way we've lived our lives, to just put everything else first. And it's that reminder of like, wait, okay, where are we without our health and well-being? And so that's, like you say, like, I'm glad you mentioned that, top of the list. So.
And I think that can be, I think that's one thing that's sort of shifted a little bit with COVID. I feel like people are more, maybe a little bit kinder to themselves on the health front, because prior to that, a lot of our culture had work first mentality, and to not value ourselves in that way. So yeah, I feel like that's shifted a little bit, and that's a good change, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's going back to that practice and like the kindness practice. It's like keeping, because we are having this pause and this wake of focusing on health and wellness. And it's like how to keep that going so we don't just flip back into old patterns that came before when we go back. So it's, yeah, bringing that intention, which I know you're all about intention.
Oh, thank you so much, Marnie. That's awesome. Let's all remember that today. Let's do a little communing with our body. All right, I think it's time to share our contact information. Da, 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 da. Here we go. There it is. And if anyone has some comments, feedback, ideas that they would like to share with us, feel free to reach out via email at motivation.mornings@gmail.com. You are likely viewing us on our Facebook page, MM with MM, but if you aren't, I highly recommend checking us out there. We will share resources in the comments underneath our live broadcast. So I will share the link to that podcast I mentioned there today. And we have our Instagram, motivation_mornings_with_mm. I post reminders on Wednesday mornings, and haven't had too many quotes posted, but we'll get back on that quote train very soon. And then we also post the recordings of these on our YouTube channel. Bitly will come at some point. I'm telling you, it will happen. So if you are one that cannot join us live every week and like to get, you're just a fan of YouTube, subscribe to us on there and you'll get notices of whenever we post our recordings. There we go. And should I do my gratitude first, or did you want to do yours?
Yeah, how about what are you grateful for this week? And encouraging once again that reminder you gave before of anybody who's watching this live or on the replay. I know we have a few people watching. Feel free to share what you're grateful for or what's inspiring you this week. It helps us all. Yeah. We love to hear it. So what are you grateful for, Melissa?
It's kind of small, but I was out for my run this morning, and I don't know if you had a chance to see it, Marnie, but there is the most beautiful moon out right now. It's just the tiniest sliver, and there was some clouds, so you couldn't see it all the time, but it would peek out, and it was just so beautiful. And so I'm so grateful to, we had a giant wind rain storm yesterday, so didn't get to enjoy outdoors as much as normal, but it was very nice to go out this morning and have that beautiful sight to start my day.
Oh my goodness, yes. And I would say that's a huge gratitude, not a small one. But everybody gets to choose. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes. And I did see it. And it's just like, oh, like you say, sometimes the stars would peek out of the clouds. It's like, oh, yay. after yesterday, it was just like, oh, so grateful. So of course, I'm always grateful for you and for you covering me covering for me for the last 2 weeks. And it's interesting. I too have chosen nature as my gratitude this week. The fall colors here, in particular the fall colors, I find when I go for walks and I'm looking around and just the changing of the leaves, and even yesterday when they were blowing, and I know I have to rake them, but at the same time I get to rake them. That's good for my health to rake them, so it's still grateful. And but yeah, just the beauty that is surrounding us right now and always in nature, but really appreciating it this week because there's been some outstanding views. And thank you, Cindy Lou. She's grateful for sunny days. No, definitely, absolutely agree.
Always grateful. That's why I have my light on right now. The sun will probably come out later, but I need as much happy light as possible.
Exactly. And I hope I said your name right. I'm not wearing my glasses. So I have to remember I need glasses. But anyway, but I do. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing on our Facebook page as well what you're grateful for too. So we've got a nature theme this week. Woohoo! So
okay, and now we'll top it off with our motivational quote. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Pardon me. Just be a second. Okay, so there was that, and then we switch over to this. And I chose this quote today. It is E.E. Cummings' birthday, poet E.E. Cummings. May my heart always be open to little birds who are the secrets of living. Whatever they sing is better than to know. And if men should not hear them, then men are old.
Oh, you made me surprised. I love this. Oh my gosh, you find the best quotes.
It's a
Oh,
little
now.
different from our normal ones, but trying to
Ah,
find something appropriate that he wrote.
amazing. And I love how it always seems like things come around with it. We end up having a theme, even though we don't plan ahead. Like we've just ended up with a lovely nature theme and how important it is. Oh, we got another. So, oh, thank you so much. Grateful for family. Thank you, Sarah. So, mm,
Got to see some family over the Thanksgiving weekend. That's definitely a big gratitude too. So, don't get to see them as often anymore at the moment, anyway.
yes.
All right.
Well,
We have had another successful motivation mornings, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
I hope so. I know we sure enjoy it. And we really appreciate, oh, see some hearts and likes coming up. So thank you all for those who are here this morning. We really appreciate you for being here and supporting us. And hopefully, like Melissa said, get something out of it. Big hearts. And just, yeah, wishing you a good, kind day. And yeah, have fun and take good care.
Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you next week.
Yay!
Bye for now.